We had a comment over on our TikTok, Houston Museum NS on TikTok, that our Hall of Malacology doesn't get enough love, and that is what this video aims to correct. My wife would kill me if I didn't refill the Brita filter. All right, let's go. Oh, that's cold. This rolling bag makes me feel like the world is my airport. Oh, thank God for pre-warming vehicles. It's January 2024 as of recording, and it's during the cold snap. So on my patio this morning, it was 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and right now it is still below freezing. So let's go to the Houston Museum of Natural Science, shall we? Turn off radio, that's annoying. Today I actually wanted to check out the Hall of Malacology. So that is what we are going to do. To the left of the screen now is Rice University, where John F. Kennedy gave his famous "We're going to the moon" speech.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Found a pretty good spot here on the 4th level. Now let's go inside and check out the Hall of Malacology. So you know what? As I'm walking to Malacology right here, let's have a little voiceover explain what the George W. Strake Hall of Malacology is all about. There are over 1,300 marine and shell specimens on display. And while the hall focuses on ocean conservation, HMNS Malacology curator Tina Petway reminds us that, quote, "This is not just about pretty shells. This is about humans' reliance on the ocean's resources." So as you soak in the beautiful collection, you will also learn about the critical role mollusks play in the ocean ecosystem, as well as the entire Earth's ecology. Not only that, but visiting the exhibition will also teach you how humans have used these shells for food and culture. One of my personal favorite parts about the Hall of Malacology and some of our other halls here at the Houston Museum of Natural Science is how our specimens, our artifacts, our items, our pieces are displayed, almost like jewelry, but nature's jewelry. All these elegant patterns. I feel like somebody could come to the Hall of Malacology and spend the entire day just in this hall alone. I also believe that this hall is so beautiful that it will inspire generations of marine biologists. I mean, just look at these. Few ecosystems on Earth are more colorful and more diverse than our oceans. So it's wonderful that the George W. Strake Hall of Malacology exists, not just so we can bask in these beautiful colors and beautiful specimens from our oceans, but really drive home the point of how important it is to conserve such ecosystems and how important they are to our existence here on land. I did want to show off this specimen, number 17. Look how big that is. Here's my hand for scale. But number 17, how do we pronounce it? Should I even try to pronounce that? I challenge anybody walking through the Hall of Malacology to not be gobsmacked. I mean, just look at these pieces. Gorgeous. I think one of my favorite displays in the Hall of Malacology is this one. because it explains how mollusks have been used by man for food and decorative items. And one of my favorite pieces, speaking of decorative items, is this piece. Made entirely out of shells. It is number 12. So let's read what that is. I know what it is, but I'm gonna let y'all know too. Number 12 is the Sailor's Valentine. Humans have been using shells for artwork and for jewelry for centuries, to say the least. Let's keep walking. Oh, I see a couple things in here that I want to zoom in on. These pearlescent, gorgeous pieces. Let's get close. A human jeweler would have difficulty producing something as beautiful as nature already has. In fact, I would argue that human artists have constantly been trying to capture and recreate what nature already has perfectly. I would argue that the longer you walk through these halls and these displays in the Hall of Malacology, that it might be a challenge not to become at least a little bit philosophical about humanity's existence, our own existence, how we affect things around us that have been around far longer than we have. You can get in your head a little bit. In this display, you can see various fishing string and plastics and other refuse of humanity that winds up in our oceans. And that when it does wind up in our oceans, it winds up affecting us. A vicious cycle of hubris. I mean, come on. I keep coming back to the colors of the ocean ecosystem. But I mean, come on. I don't think anybody would fault me for being blown away by the sheer beauty that the ocean has to offer. Look at this. I wonder what that's called. What number is that? Number 19. Let's see what number 19 is called. Someone could seriously spend all day just in this hall alone. All day. And isn't that the story of the Houston Museum of Natural Science? A day isn't enough. So that was the George W. Strake Hall of Malacology. And as I start to wrap up this vlog video, I like to remind y'all that the Houston Museum of Natural Science has a podcast, has many podcasts, actually, several podcasts. Just search for Houston Museum of Natural Science in your favorite podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you listen to podcasts, and you can find us there. I'd also be remiss if I didn't plug us on social media. Houston Museum NS on TikTok. You can just search for Houston Museum of Natural Science in any social media platform, X, Facebook, Instagram, of course, YouTube here. And you can follow us along there. We have all sorts of cool things to show you and would love to show you. As this vlog series continues, is there something else you might want to see at the museum? Let her rip in the comments below, and I would love to take you on somewhat of a virtual tour. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I've been your mental curator, Johnny Hemberger. Remember to be safe, and as always, stay curious. I'm gonna keep exploring though. Okay, fine. One selfie with Bucky. Hi, Bucky. Y'all know what time it is.